Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
Hey everybody. Welcome. Before I begin, a couple of little quick things. First of all, Night Songs 86, thank you so much for the Prime resub. Scott 2572, thank you for the resub. Guys, seriously, thank you so much. Like, y'all don't know how much this means to me. I've been running around like crazy since... Oh, you resub too, Mrs. Wayso? Only possibly a national incident. Only possible, Harkonnen. We'll get to that in a bit, though. There's reasons for everything. Thank you for the kind words about the intro, Harkonnen. Lumpy Pickle, welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Lurkers, thank you for being here too. I'm tired. I decided to stay up and watch the entire Basho last night. That's the sumo tournament. Last night was day 5, and it ended at 2 a.m. I powered through to the very end. So I'm a little tired today, and my goodness. I have to say that the matches from last night, not quite as good as the day before. The day before, oven's ready. The day before, the matches were spectacular. There was a lot of kind of cheap sumo last night. A lot of, basically, sidestep and let him fall kind of thing. And it was just, it was a little disappointing. To be honest, like, the quality of wrestling overall wasn't anywhere near as excellent. There were some good matches for sure, and there were some upsets. For instance, one of the crowd favorites, Enho, he actually lost last night, which was surprising. His opponent just wasn't having it and kind of put him down. But Big Dan, he won. He's a Brazilian guy that is in the league, and he won his match, which was good. So, yeah. And I've just been running around like crazy. I got back from the market today, and I've just been kind of working non-stop. Like, last stream, we had the issue with the food camera that's right here. I'll switch camera views real quick. Like, this one was showing up like kind of yellow-green, and as far as I can tell, it's fine. Then the other issue was this camera was a bit blown out. Like, I tried to correct it, but it's way too much light and dark contrast. Like, it's just not happy with it. So I'm gonna have to, I think, figure out a new position for it. But we'll get to the boiling water and why that's there. yeah, and I've just been kind of like working on a whole bunch of other stuff. And yeah. As for the menu for today and why the possibility of a national incident, yesterday I decided, you know what? Huli Huli chicken sounded good. Kind of your normal plate lunch that you would find in Hawaii. Plate lunch, for those that don't know, is just a quick lunch that you can usually pick up like all over Hawaii. Very commonly it's got like Huli Huli chicken on it or chicken katsu, whatever. It's some kind of protein, but then it's like rice and macaroni salad. Might be a vegetable, might not, kind of thing. And Huli Huli chicken just sounded good. We had a pack of chicken breasts that I needed to work with, and so I decided, hey, let's, brine these as per, the normal recipe and make Huli Huli chicken out of it. So, make the chicken. The chicken turned out way saltier than I thought it would. Which, if you had it with the plain white rice, it was fine. But by itself, it was way too much. Way too much. So I decided to kind of go back to the drawing board, especially because I thought, this would actually make for a good stream today. And chance for redemption. So we're running it again. What I kind of sussed out was the issue is the recipe for the brine that I used for the chicken yesterday called for water and soy sauce in kind of a 1-to-1 ratio. And it gave the chicken a really great dark color, but it was just way too much salt content, as it were. So this is where we're going to get a little crazy. I went back to a recipe that I knew that worked, and it is the chicken brine recipe that was posted by a YouTuber by the name of Way of Ramen. And his brine recipe is for chicken chashu. So if you go on YouTube and look up Way of Ramen and look for his chicken chashu recipe, he actually links a Google Doc that he has a calculator to figure out what the brine should be for it. And I've made it to his recipe and it turns out perfect. The chicken breasts that I've done for Mrs. Hueso in the past, perfectly seasoned, not too much, not too little, and just work really, really well. So I was going to use that as my basis. Start doing the math on it. Came to the realization, I'm like, that's not quite right. Something is off in my understanding of things. So I literally had to back it up and say, okay, let's compare sodium content to sodium content, right? Looking at salt, figuring out how much sodium per gram was in it, then figuring that amount with soy sauce. And I decided, okay, if I'm going to do this, even though I have a number of different soy sauces. I figured for this specifically, I was going to make it with a soy sauce that was readily available. Anybody can get it. And I picked up a small jug of straight up Kikkoman soy sauce. Okay. Totally available everywhere. Kind of a known soy sauce, known brand. Figured, okay, let's base everything off of this. Initially, I thought, well, maybe if I use the less sodium soy sauce, that would also work. But when I looked at the sodium content of that versus the sodium content of the regular soy sauce, yes, there was a difference. But I figured, if what I'm going off of is the pure amount of sodium, then I might as well just get the regular stuff that hasn't had that additional process involved, and based all of my numbers off of that. So what I have in this container is that brine recipe with 4 deboned chicken thighs that I've had soaking in here for a couple of hours. And the brine itself is just water, sugar, soy sauce, and that's it. Well, actually, there's one other thing. Because we're making Huli Huli chicken, and the way that it's typically prepared is that it's grilled over... It's not the mesquite that we think of that you usually find in Texas. It's a very specific species of wood that's related to mesquite in Hawaii. It's like kiwai, if I remember correctly, but it's a sweeter version of mesquite. Soybeans are named from soy sauce, unless I am mistaken. I think it's the other way around. I think. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. So I thought, hey, what if we added a little bit of liquid smoke to this? But mesquite liquid smoke is way more difficult to find because it is a very strong smoke and can be kind of off-putting. I did manage to actually find a bottle at a very unlikely place. So I added literally just a 1/4 teaspoon to the brine, which, based off of the math, they recommend adding 2 teaspoons of the liquid smoke to a gallon. Do some math, worked out to about a 1/4 teaspoon, give or take. Not enough to make a super, super big difference in this. So that's what's in that one container that I showed you. But then I thought, hey, what if I threw in a little bit of that mushroom bouillon powder that has the MSG as well as the ING for maximum umami effect, right? Again, okay, let's figure out the sodium content. So look at the sodium content, and I made a second batch of brine, thus the soy bouillon label, and you can see that it's actually lighter than the other one. So for the sodium content, I did half soy sauce, half bouillon, but these 2 brines have the exact same percentage of sodium as does that initial recipe that just calls for straight up salt. I made a spreadsheet with a calculator. I literally had it open on the TV. If you saw my either Instagram or Facebook posts where I posted pictures of it, and if you don't know how to get to that, wait for it. Will it do it? Come on. There it is. There's the link to all the socials so you can actually see it. So there's you can see the spreadsheet that was on here, but you can't really read it. Depending on how this turns out will be whether or not I kind of release that information. So then that way you can follow along at home and do this same sort of thing. I am really curious how the difference between the two, if there is any actual difference, which is why I'm doing like this. And since I know Mrs. Hueso is here, just so you know, baby, the 2 chicken breasts that I had left over from yesterday are in the straight brine with no soy sauce, just a little bit of salt, sugar, and that. The one that we talked about earlier, so you should be good to go. If you want to just grill them up or something like that. So there you go. Yes, definitely try this at home. But oh my gosh, the amount of math and like playing around with the spreadsheet in order to make this happen, and then I second guessed myself, which I'm glad I did, because my initial math had me adding a ton of soy sauce in comparison to water, which I'm like, that doesn't seem right. So when I compared it from the sodium content between salt versus the soy sauce, figured out how much sodium per gram there is. That's what I used to kind of figure it out. And so the math checks out. I've run it backwards and forwards just to make sure, and the math checks out. So we should be good to go there. That's the chicken. What's funny is the rice cooker here just finished right before the intro was done. So we'll stir that up in a little bit. We'll have the rice. I've not like made rice from scratch on stream previously just because it's kind of a boring process. It very simply, it's taking whatever volume of rice that you're going to make. In this case, since I'm making Japanese rice, it's a short grain variety called Koshihikari. This particular batch is actually grown in Japan because amazingly they sell it here at a not completely unreasonable price for what it is. Wash it till the water runs clear. Let it kind of dry out for about a half hour. Then let it soak in the cooking water for 30 minutes. Then hit start on the rice cooker and let it do its thing. That's kind of my standard operating procedure, and it works fantastically. And that's what we got going on here. Then this is where we might get into a little bit of heresy. This is where the national incident may come up, Harkonnen. Mac and potato salad. Not macaroni salad and potato salad. One salad of macaroni and potato. I will say that a friend of ours mentioned over dinner that she had made a macaroni potato salad in kind of the Hawaiian style. I'm like, that sounds really interesting. Sacrilege. I know, exactly. Macaroni only. And that's why I'm like, this is where we could get into a bit of a thing. However, I made this yesterday. It was really good. And so we're going to run it again. So then that way we have it and you can kind of see what's going on. And I'm pretty excited. There were a couple of things about the salad from last night that I'm like, oh, okay, I'd kind of like to do like one or two things, minor things really differently. And I'm not talking like major ingredient changes. I mean like cutting the potatoes a little bit smaller and the carrot pieces being a little bit smaller. But other than that, it's going to be exactly what I did last night. And then lastly, yeah, I know, I haven't even started. Lumpy Pickle, that's why I put the warning in the intro. So in that way, people have been warned before they roll in. And then lastly, because we desperately need some kind of vegetation to go with this, I plan on having some kimchi that I've made to go along with this. But I thought, you know, what looks good, what sounds good, and Brussels sprouts just seemed to work. And so I picked up some honkin' Brussels sprouts today at the market, and we will roast those up, and we'll concurrently end up roasting the chicken initially, but we'll finish that off underneath the broiler to actually get kind of the Huli Huli thing going on. And we're gonna make a sauce to glaze on it at literally like the very end. So then that way it's got kind of a yummy sauce going on with it. So, okay. Now that all that is out of the way, I think we're finally ready to start cooking. But because I am on the somewhat tired side, I figure, you know what, I deserve a little something something. A little fancy glass drink ASMR. Oh! Yep, Purple Monster. It's a, it's the ultraviolet, which is kind of a grape pure zero. I want to say the entire can's 20 calories, but there's no sugar in it. So, all right, baby, see you in a bit. Okay. Couple of sips. Let's get going. All right, first things first. I want to get these Brussels sprouts prepped and ready to go. And these are some honkin' ones. So all I'm going to do is trim these up. move those out of the way. I just got a bowl here that I'm gonna end up putting them into. So then we can toss them in a little bit of grapeseed oil, salt and pepper. And because they're this size, I am cutting these guys in half, so then that way they can actually roast on the cut side down and get maximum yummy goodness going on. That's what we want. Normally when I buy Brussels sprouts like this that are loose, I usually don't worry too much about them, only because for the most part they're like the same size usually. But the place that I bought them from today, they had some really small ones, and then they had like a bunch of these big ones. So I figured, you know what, let me actually go through for once, pick through and get the big ones, so then that way we can roast them all cut side down for maximum yummy goodness. All I'm doing is trimming off the end and then taking off the outer leaves that are looking a little janky. A little discolored, a little brown. But yeah, we're keeping it simple with these. Thankfully, I mean, like, everything that I'm doing is pretty simple in terms of, like, oh, you're not doing any weird, like, complicated cooking techniques. These are all, I'm cutting things up, I'm mixing things, I'm roasting things. It's not like it's a whole lot of really high-level kind of stuff, but like anything else, a mastery of the basics is what will really elevate your game. If you don't have the basics down, everything else is just going to suffer. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it was last week or something, we were watching, yeah, it was 911 Lone Star, and I think I mentioned this a little bit, where the son got busted for doing graffiti on a billboard during like the morning rush hour traffic or something, and I was just like, oh boy. Because I've been a graffiti aficionado for, I don't know, like 30 years. More like let me just put it this way, more of a professional appreciator than anything else. Not a practitioner. And when he signed the cast, I was just like, okay, yeah, this kid's just like, oh, I just grabbed a thing of spray paint because I'm angry. Because when it comes to like graffiti, it's kind of funny how, I mean, I was just saying that if you don't have the basics down, everything else tends to suffer. And it's so true with graffiti, because the very basic foundation of everything is what's your hand style, your basic hand style, which is just your normal kind of writing that you do. And it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice to get a good, clean hand style. Hand style is usually what you end up seeing in terms of like tags that are done with like markers or little mops, as they're called, paint daubers and things like that. I mean, that's just pure hand style. Yeah, tags in general are just going to be your kind of basic hand style. And so those that have if you don't have a very good tag or a very good hand style, everything else tends to suffer. Because when you go to, do more complicated things, when you start doing things like throwies, when you start doing pieces, and stuff like that, the lack of a foundation becomes really noticeable. I mean, there are people that can do, oh, I'm doing this, crazy wild style piece or whatever. But you can, once you've looked at enough, you can kind of tell that they're missing some things. And there's some people out there that are clearly missing that foundation. However, the guys with some of the strongest hand styles are just absolutely phenomenal. There's a book, I forget the name of it. It's really famous amongst graffiti writers, and it's from back in kind of the 80s, and it was a female photographer that started documenting graffiti on subway trains in New York City. And this was really kind of at the beginning of sort of graffiti culture in New York back in the 80s. So it's a really excellent window into the past to kind of see where people have come from and where they're going. And there's a couple of writers that are in there that even then stood out because their hand styles were just insane. I'm just going to hit these with a little grapeseed oil, salt, and pepper real quick and get them tossed. One of which is a writer that goes by Future 2000. Super clean. Really just my counter's clean. I'm not too concerned. Super clean writing, and his stuff was unlike anybody else. It was more graphic in nature as opposed to, hey, I'm a character and here's a whole bunch of letters. He had letters, but his stuff, like I said, was mostly graphic in nature, which is really fascinating. Okay. So let's get these all flipped over real quick. Another one was a gentleman by the name of, probably going to say it wrong, Dondi, D-O-N-D-I. He came from a graphic design background, and so his writing was also really clean, almost like a combination of calligraphy and writing. So here's our sprouts ready to go. I'm just going to put them on the stovetop until we're ready to put them in. I'd love to see if you're able to do Brussels sprouts in a way that I'm able to enjoy. I haven't found one yet. Okay. Well, I am kind of curious, Harkonnen, what ways have you had them? Because that's how they're prepared is going to make a big difference. I have found personally that roasting is my favorite way. They just tend to be sweeter when done in that particular fashion. Okay, let's see. Next up, we need to work on the salad stuff. Okay. So for the salad, I've got 8 ounces of dried elbow macaroni, and I've got some red potatoes. I'm kind of thinking I only need to do 3 of these. But I'm aiming for kind of a 50-50 ratio, and I'm going to get these cut up. And then here's this is where we're going to go a little crazy. Macaroni salad done in the Hawaiian style, the noodles really need to be boiled longer than what the package calls for. Most of the time you're used to like al dente pasta. No, it needs to be kind of overcooked. That way it has a chance to actually soak up the juices and kind of everything else. And it's just, that's how it's done. So this would be done in about 10 minutes. I'm going to aim for about 12 on that. And I'm going to dice these up in such a way that they should be done in about 12 minutes, so then that way I can boil them all at the same time. But that's my game plan. That's what I'm aiming for with that. And then we can work on everything else that goes along with it. Kind of thinking I should probably pull the chicken out to start frying before I get working on this. Thankfully, I've got the trays all set up. Okay. Yeah. I've actually washed the potatoes ahead of time, so then that way it's just way easier to get that out of the way. Alright. Got my 2 trays. I'm gonna put this edge up and okay, so don't forget the one with the edge up, this is gonna be the soy bouillon, and then the one that's down is just gonna be the straight up soy. So we need some paper towels so then that way we're not throwing wet chicken in the oven. Roast. Okay. Little kitchen paper, as they call it. And let's grab some of these. Alright. Yeah, so the way that the brines work on these is it's an equal volume of water to what the weight of the chicken is. So I weighed the chicken in order to kind of figure out what I needed. And I want to say the soy one was something like 816 grams, whereas the soy bouillon one was 750. So even though the volume of the brine is different, it's the same strength. That. We just ditched the brine. It's a good thing the sink is empty and the dishwasher is also empty. Okay. I want to say these have been brining for about 4 hours. There definitely is a smell difference between just the soy sauce brine versus the one with the bouillon. I am getting kind of that mushroom, bit of that mushroom smell to go along with it, which isn't unpleasant in my opinion. There's that. Get this out of here. Use that for the chicken. Paper towel decided to go crazy on me. Okay, back to the potato salad. Gonna dice these up. I'm just kind of looking at it to see how I want to approach it. Because the pieces that I did weren't massive, but Mrs. Weso had just requested that they be smaller. But I didn't want to do them too small. But I'm using red potato, red potato. These are waxy since they're going to hold up to having been boiled. They'll actually retain their shape. It won't necessarily turn to mush, unless, of course, they're overcooked, which is what I'm trying to avoid. Now that we can actually see what we're doing. Yeah, these pieces should be the right size for being tender in 20 minutes, or 12 minutes, I should say. So all I'm doing is turning the potato into like this, slicing it into 4, and then taking the halves and literally doing them 4 and 4. Tried to pick potatoes that were about the same size. So then that way when everything was cut up, everything would be about the same size. Okay, that is potatoes done. Let's turn up the heat on the water that I've got going. Because as soon as they're done, they're going to get tossed with rice vinegar and then just kind of tossed up. I'll throw in pepper in there. The water that I have on the stove is heavily salted, so there's not going to be any need to add any additional salt to this at all. The pasta and the potatoes will be seasoned just right. That'll be good to go. The only other thing that I want to make sure that I absolutely get into the bowl that I'm going to toss them in before the pasta and potatoes are done is the onion and carrot. And the reason for that is because I want the potatoes and pasta to kind of soak up the juices from the grated onion, as well as let the residual heat kind of soften up the carrot a little bit, so it's not completely raw, but like half cooked. It just results in a better texture, in my opinion, and so that's just kind of something that I do. But in the meantime, let's get these in. All right. Here we go. Okay. Pasta in, potatoes in. Let's give it a stir. I thought I had a spoon. Hopefully that looks way better than it did. Yeah, it's definitely not as blown out, but it's not fantastic. Oh well. Sweet pickles in the sauce for the mac salad are more savory. You know, sweet pickles, and that is a totally valid addition. In this particular circumstance, I kind of like it a little bit more on the savory side. A lot of people will stir in sugar as well as milk to kind of thin the sauce. I tend to prefer to go straight mayo. That's just me. Give that a start. So now I'm on the clock. I mean, I gotta get the carrot and onion done ASAP. And I got half of an onion here that the other half is what I used yesterday. It would help if you could actually see what I was doing. Now I need to do the carrot. The carrot that I have is very large, and I only really want about half of this guy. So I'm gonna peel half of it and then grate it in there. There we go. Okay, carrot grated is in. Boom. That is done. Then when the potatoes and pasta are done, we will hit it with a bit of rice vinegar. I'm just using straight rice vinegar, unseasoned for this. Nah, we don't need to see what you're doing. I know, right? I think this place will might be. It would appear that Mrs. Hueso is home. She made it! Hooray! I cut the potatoes smaller. You're welcome.
That was really complaint. It was fantastic.
That's what I said. And it wasn't even a complaint. It was more of just a personal preference.
Well, because there was either all potato in one bite or potato and other things.
Excuse me, Jane.
And I wanted to do potato and other things. Yay!
So the only other things I'm adding to this is I'm going to mince up a rib of celery and then finally slice up the green onion. And this will get stirred in at the very, very end, like right before, well actually after it's had a chance to cool, because the potatoes and pasta are going to need like a solid 20 minutes to cool after having been dressed with the vinegar. And I'm just kind of slicing the white bits in half a little bit, just so then that way, smaller pieces. We just finally slice them. So, other funny thing that I figured out that I was working on, the raid message that I tried to put out and was coming up as just text without the actual emotes. I'm like, what on earth is happening? Why is it not working? I ended up having to go into a forum and I asked, and a very helpful individual was like, "Is your bot subbed?" And I'm like, "My bot needs to be subbed." Well, in order to use the emotes, yeah, my bot needed to be subbed. So I'm like, "Oh, okay then." I'm like, why on earth would I be subbing my bot in order to spit out the messages? So, to get around that, I was actually able to set it up so that I spit out the raid message now as opposed to bot. So then that way, I don't need to worry about whether or not the snack bot has a sub. So, workaround has been found. I've been busy. There we go. And then, again, I'm just finely slicing this up. The celery is not really there for its taste. It's really kind of more a textural contrast, some crunch. Thankfully, it's not super strong, so it's not like, oh my gosh. But it is a nice, like I said, textural contrast. That is done. Woo! So now we just wait for the potatoes and pasta to be done. Let's check on that. Boop. Got 5.5 minutes, at least on the timer, and then we'll check to see what the situation is between the potatoes and the pasta. See if they're soft enough, and I've got a colander already set up in the sink ready to go so we can drain them. And then after that's drained and in the bowl with the onion and carrot, we'll hit it with that rice vinegar. And then we'll start putting stuff in the oven. And we will be in a really, really good spot. Okay. Salad stuff, totally done. Okay. The only thing that's really left is we need to put together the stuff for the sauce for the glaze for the chicken. Thankfully the glaze is pretty simple. It literally just all goes into the pan, and then we just kind of let it slowly reduce until it becomes a thick glaze. So let's get that going. Alright. And we're gonna do this. Get that. And there was another. Oh, it's already over. Okay. All sorts of different measuring implementations. Dry measure, gloopy measure, wet measure. Got all that. Okay. Need garlic and ginger. So we've got the grater. So into this particular glaze, it calls for pineapple juice. I got a thing of pineapple nectar, so we'll throw that in. What's funny is the recipe that I found for this makes like 3/4 of a gallon of glaze. It's meant for like, hey, we're doing a big thing with like 100 pounds of chicken or whatever. So I had to scale things down and change it up just a little bit. Oh, forgot one little item. Calls for chili garlic sauce, which, aka sambal oliak. This is a product that is kind of. You know what's funny is they sell this like at a number of white people markets. which is really kind of funny, but hey, you can find it in the international section. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so we need what's going to end up being a couple of tablespoons of ginger. That's right, that's why I need this. Because I need to grate this, or I need to peel it first. What was Pickle's question? Oh yes, I did answer it. I said I did not put any, and that I generally prefer it on the savory side. Alright, ginger, ready to go. Then, actually found some decent heads of garlic, which I thought was kind of crazy. Still need to go to the place in order to get that 5-pound bag of peeled garlic. Like, once you really start using that stuff, it's hard to go back. Alright. We're just gonna chop this up and put it in there. Initially I was thinking, oh, it'd be great if we can grate it. I'm like, ugh, I hate peeling garlic so much. You know, I've tried the, you know, hey, put it in a, put it in like a mason jar or something like that and try shaking it, for very, very mixed results.
That plastic, it looks like a Chinese finger catcher.
Yeah, the finger catcher thingy.
Try that?
I have tried that, and it's basically the same thing as shaking it up in a mason jar. Same sort of effect. The only difference is that instead of bashing it with a knife, you're using the palm of your hand to kind of crush it like that. So, oh. Okay. Got some potato, got some pasta. Alright, let's try that potato first. That'll do. Pasta will work too. Okay. Let's give this guy a drain. Okay. Looks like some of the potatoes may have gone a little long. No, it's not a horrible thing.
I didn't realize you boiled them together.
I didn't yesterday. I did them separately yesterday. But since I figured since I was cutting the potatoes smaller anyways, then in theory I could cut them to the size that would allow them to cook at the same time as the pasta and have them both come out right at the same time.
How's that?
Okay. Not the greatest. Alright. So that is nicely mixed up. I've got the smell of rice vinegar wafting in my nose. So we're going to set this aside for about 20 minutes before we do anything. set a timer. Okay. Since we're here, all right, Brussels sprouts are going in the oven. Diced sausage? Depends on the type of salad. It's not unheard of to have Spam in there, or ham of some variety. I think if it was like a Hawaiian sausage, I don't see a particular reason why you couldn't do it. It's one of those recipes that there's not a definitive, this is it, period, because everybody kind of has their own little slight variation, so you could probably get away with it and not have any issues.
No international.
Hopefully not. If you bought the sausages at a market that caters to Hawaiian expats or something like that, you should be just fine. I know that there's some Japanese markets I have found will cater to a Hawaiian subculture, and so you'll see a number of Hawaiian products at some of these markets. Some more so than others.
Would you want to try the sausage?
Sure, I'd give it a go with sausage. Like diced ham or Spam or something like that, yeah. Okay. Garlic. Chippity chopped. And oh, the Brussels sprouts, I set a timer for 15 minutes, and then we're going to put the chicken in the oven. The oven is currently set at 400 degrees, but I have it on my quick bake, which is kind of a convection. That's where we're at currently. All right, so now I need some grated ginger. Okay, yeah, I mean, there's certainly spicy sausages available, like, in Hawaii, so that, like, yeah, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for certain. I know, like, I'm a big fan of actually mixing in a bit of kimchi into my macaroni salad. I'm a big fan of the little bit of spice and the crunch and that kind of pickled, fermented flavor that goes along with it. All right, let me give this a rinse real quick. Like, hey, I just ran all of this through the dishwasher. We're running it again. All right. So there is this stuff. Now we can get to work on everything else that needs to go into this sauce. So we need a half cup of brown sugar. Although I'll probably end up adding a little bit of extra just because I kind of like it on the slightly sweet side. So, brown sugar, done. Then we need that and this. Oh, and I already have this out. Okay. We need on Team Liquid half cup of soy sauce, and I'm just using that Kiko Man that I picked up earlier since it's already on the chicken. And then a half cup of rice vinegar. Ever so slowly. Okay. That goes in. And lastly, which is why we have this guy. Oh, nice. I even pulled it up to a half cup. Half cup of ketchup. I really hate these squeezy bottles so much. Because you can never get all of it. Oh, because... Okay. What I mean is, okay, you see this big giant cap, right? And you think, oh, hey, that must mean the hole in there is super big. Nope. It's really small. And so what happens is it has this kind of shoulder, and it never completely gets down in there. I'm not a big fan. Okay, Arcona, we'll see you in a minute. Alright. So this is just going to go on the stove. Bring it up to high initially, just so that we can kind of get it to a boil, and then we'll turn it down. You know, I've done that. However, it has not gone well historically. Something just happened. Huh. Okay. That is going. Let's see. It's like something connected and then disconnected and connected again. What the heck? Alright. And we're back. It's not on. Yeah, well, I also went through and did a color correction on it. Yeah, the last time I tried a Pete Townsend windmill, I was scraping ketchup off the ceiling. Something's flipping out. What on earth? That is very odd. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Let's get this done. Get paper towels off of the chicken. We'll get these set up. Alright, so this one is just the soy sauce. Oh, did you hear my message toward the beginning of the stream? That I only did it, I think, when I saw that you had talked. Okay. That I've got a couple of chicken breasts in the meat drawer that are in just the regular brine.
Oh yeah, you're preparing.
Well, the regular brine as in the recipe that you approved. Yeah, because I've done them for you previously.
Oh, okay.
And I hadn't planned on hitting them with the Huli Huli sauce or anything like that. So then that way, if you wanted to, you could just grill them up. and have them like plain, if that's what you wanted. Alright, that's the plain soy. The one with the foil up is the soy and bouillon. Doing these all skin side down, just for the roasting portion of it. And then at the very end, we'll put it under the broiler and flip it over a few times in order to get it some color. And should finish 4.5 minutes. Just let that simmer and reduce. Those are good to go. Let's just let it go. Another 10 minutes or so before the salad is at a place where you can add everything else. So that being the case, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a really quick cleanup, and I'm gonna grab some kimchi out of the garage. I'm gonna run the intro, but I did a shortened version of the intro, so it doesn't have kind of the big lead up, but it still has the warning message. We'll run the intro. I'll kind of take care of some stuff, and then we'll come back and we can chat. So I will see you all in just a minute or so. Warning: the following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
Welcome back, everybody. Just taking a drink. Okay. Chicken's doing its thing. Well, I did talk about the sumo wrestling already. And it is a lot of fun to watch. And I will say the channel that we're watching it on, it's a Twitch channel called Midnight Sumo. The chat is super helpful when it comes to kind of explaining things to people who don't speak Japanese or don't know a ton about the sport. And I got to tell you, like, some of the folks that are in there are seriously hardcore fans, and it's really cool because there's so many little things that take place that you wouldn't necessarily notice, and it's nice to be able to have some folks around that are knowledgeable and can explain that stuff. So this is a container of kimchi that I made, and this is Well, yeah, kimchi is really an umbrella term more than anything else for sort of preserved by way of fermentation vegetables. This is, what's this, pogi? I think it's technically called pogi kimchi. I don't 100% recall. Alright. Brussels sprouts are actually really good just right off the bat. So I think I'm going to rotate them and put them higher up in the oven. So this is what we're looking like right now. We're already starting to get some browning. So I'm putting them higher up in the oven where it's going to be a little bit cooler. And put our chicken back. Okay, chicken in. 30 minutes, but I'm gonna, let's see, I got 3 minutes on the salad, and then we can start mixing in everything else. I'm gonna check the Brussels sprouts in 10 minutes, just in case. And stir the sauce over here, so they can reduce to a nice syrupy glaze. Because that's what we want. Anyways, yeah, so this is a batch of kimchi that I made a while back, and it is based off of a popular food blogger's recipe. And when I say popular food blogger, I mean a Korean food blogger in Korea. The recipe was originally in Korean, and I found a website that had kind of a translation for it. And it's kind of interesting because her recipe does a couple of things differently than most of the sort of straight Napa cabbage kimchi recipes that you see online. The one big thing it does differently is it doesn't add any carrots, which carrots are a pretty common addition. And so the fact that there isn't any in there is odd. The other thing that she does, which is kind of cool, and I like the idea of it, and I'm thinking about adapting it to the next batch that I make, instead of just using straight water to mix up the rice paste in order to kind of act as a glue, she makes a sort of a fruit stock that's got like apples, goji berries, I forget what else is in there, but it's a kind of a light and fragrant sort of stock that's added to it. She doesn't add any salted shrimp or any... There's like a little bit of fish sauce, but not very much. And so it's very different. This kind of kimchi tends to be lighter than the sort of standard recipes that you see. I like it. I can't say it's necessarily my favorite, which is why I like the idea of kind of that flavored stock. So I'm thinking what I'll do the next time, which will probably be in the fall when it's cabbage harvest season, is I'll make the kimchi, but for the stock I'll make kind of that really nice dashita with the giant kelp, anchovies, like shiitake mushrooms, radish. I'll get that really flavorful stock going in there, and then that will act as a really nice kind of flavor foundation for things. Okay. What timing? Okay. We are back to our salad. So we've got that. It has cooled down quite a bit. At this point, we'll go ahead and stir in that minced up celery and green onion from earlier. So we got that going on. And we need 2 things. That and number 1, black pepper, because, well, it needs pepper. Don't need any salt because the water was heavily salted ahead of time. We got that. And then we need mayo. And we need quite a bit of mayo. Okay. A word on mayo for Hawaiian mac and cheese. Every recipe that you'll see online for Hawaiian style macaroni salad, everyone without fail will say to use Best Foods or Hellman's, because that's the brand that's most prolific in Hawaii. And to use that one. I don't have that particular brand. I have a different brand. I've got this blue plate, which I've discovered and quite enjoy. So I'm using blue plate. Please don't kill me, Hawaiians. But I really like this mayo, and I think it's very good in this. So this is another one of those kind of like possibility of a national incident.
I feel like a lot of mayos are similar in flavor.
They're
I mean, weird one's got a distinct flavor also. But
well, and that's also because it's not mayo.
right.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Most mayos do have a pretty similar flavor to them. It really kind of depends. The mayo that we were big fans of, the Heinz mayo, has been really kind of unavailable for a while. Like, can't even order it online kind of thing. So I needed to find a replacement, so I go online.
I didn't realize that's why we have the new mayo. I just thought you were trying a new mayo.
No, that's why we don't have it, is because you can't get it.
Well, that's all our time.
Yeah. And it was one of those things when I started to see it running out, I went around to a couple of different stores just to try to find as much of it as I can and, hoard it. But by the time I went to do that, it was already gone, really. So, alright. This salad is looking sufficiently creamy. So let's grab a fork real quick and give it a try. Focus. There we go. That's very tasty. That is very tasty. And, well, I would say it'll be even better once it's had a chance to actually cool down a little bit. Or, actually refrigerate. You're more than welcome to come and have some. Okay. I know, I'm kind of hungry too. But we're getting there. Okay, I'll hydrate. Let's see. Here's my fork. You want to give it a taste?
Spoon!
Hopefully the potato size is to your liking.
Excellent.
Do you find that acceptable?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
very good. Oh, you
Excellent.
want your fork back?
Hmm?
You
Oh,
want
you can hang on to it. It's fine. 20 minutes long. Very good. Alright. So, this stuff, I think I should pack away just so then that way it can refrigerate. Because this is always better if you've had a chance to let it, if you make it ahead of time and it has a chance to sit around for a few hours,
or even a night?
or even overnight.
Did you get that?
I got it. Alright, let's check Brussels sprouts. Come on. Oops. We can work this. Those are looking very nice. Let's flip it over and see. Those are looking very good. So I am thinking I'm going to leave these out for the time being because they're super close to being done. And I figured if nothing else, I can just pop them back into the oven during the final minute or two with the chicken. Sauce is thickening up. What we want. Okay.
Your dumpster fire's now stacked.
Yeah.
Gotta make- I don't know, I feel like the dumpster fire.
It should be a happy dumpster fire. Alright. Yeah, this is going to be excellent. Feel even better in a couple of hours. Or even tomorrow. So, okay. I'm gonna run the intro real quick while I go take this stuff out to the garage, then we'll be back. And yeah, that's where we're at. So we'll see you in just a minute. Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
It would also help if I unmuted the mic. That would be helpful too. So, yeah, that is where we are at. We are just currently waiting for the chicken. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to stir the rice. Yeah. I haven't done it on stream as of yet. I have talked about it, and I did explain my process ahead of time. Yeah. But rice is ready to go. So we'll have our rice, we'll have our mac and potato salad, the Brussels sprouts, we'll have that chicken, and it will be delightful. Indeed. Ooh. Most of the time when I end up making dinner or something like that, this is kind of what ends up happening. That I try to get everything done and ready to go. And then it's just wait for it to do its thing. So there's not necessarily a ton of active stuff. I just happen to kind of power through things quicker than I thought I would. Which is why we're like, hey, we've got time. That looks like it is a good syrupy consistency, so I'm going to turn that off. Push it back. That is. Well, I would imagine, let's see, it's 5:30, so I would think that Lumpy Pickle is probably in the process of heading home. Not sure what's up with everyone else. They're probably lurking. That's all good. We love our lurkers. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. Come, hang out, you know. How was your day? Yeah? Not fun? Oof. Sorry, baby. You're intrigued by the salad. All the plate lunches you had in Hawaii were either mac salad or potato salad, not a combo. So I actually really like the combo.
The combo's awesome.
Yeah, the combo is great. The potatoes thrown into kind of that mac salad. I'm a fan, and the fact, well, it was Leilani that mentioned making it, and so I'm like, well, if she was raised in Hawaii, so it's like, you know what? If she says, you know, I made this thing and it's really good, I'm like, okay, we'll go for that. So I'm happy with the combo, to be honest. It's nice because it's just more textural contrast, and it's really good that way. But so the November statement's a big mess.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's because the woman, so back in the day, development, that's money coming in.
Yeah.
Fundraising. They would tell me what the numbers were. Now it's the other way around. We tell them what the numbers are. Which is how it should have been. Anyways, the lady who used to do that left.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't get development numbers until December. So I had to mad dash throw them in the system. So they're crazy.
Oof. I'm sorry, baby. Yeah. Managed to cut the front and back grass yesterday. Pulled pork sandwiches, good times. Yeah, managed to cut the grasses yesterday because it actually stopped raining long enough to do that sort of thing. It's been off and on all day, but yeah, it works. Our weed eater, for whatever reason, has decided that it doesn't want to. Like it'll kind of start, but the moment you kind of hit the gas on it, it decides it wants to die. And I've put fresh fuel in it. I don't know what the situation is with it, so have to dismantle that and see what I can do to get it fixed, so then that way I can edge and do the other things that need to be done. But
yeah, because then we can edge the fire pit. Go outside.
that's true, because then we can edge around the fire pit that's out back, and then we can take everything outside and actually cook over the fire, which will be fun, since soon as the rainy season finally decides to stop, that'll actually be a thing that we can do on a somewhat regular basis.
I don't know when that's going to be.
No clue when that's going to be. I will say that I'm gonna have to get a longer network cable. That's for sure. In order to run it out to the laptop out there. No, this one wouldn't be long enough to get out there. No, I'm gonna need a longer one. But thankfully, that's not grill or the flamethrower. No, we have a fire pit out back.
But you need to show the flamethrower too.
Yeah, we'll show. Yeah, once we have it, the weather actually clears up and it's conducive to going out back and doing some cooking outdoors. We'll show you the flamethrower. We'll show you the fire pit. We'll do stuff at the grill. We'll do a lot more outdoor stuff. At least that's the plan. Love whole sweet potato wrapped in foil and cooked in the middle of the flame. Yeah, absolutely. Sweet potato or regular potatoes, that works really nicely. I hear Jane running. Hi, Jane. Oh, was she? Jane's over at the very far end. But okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can cut. There he is. Here comes Jane. Hi, Jane. You know what's up. Good boy. See if she comes running. No. No, she outside. She's probably preoccupied with like trying to find a rabbit or a bird or something like that. Which, having cut the grass, now it's like, okay, they don't. That was an issue. What was that, last year that the rabbits decided
Not
to do?
last year, it was the year before.
The year before last.
Memorial weekend.
Rabbits had set up a nest just in the grass because it was, I don't know,
That's
like a
how
foot.
rabbits nest.
That's how they nest. Yeah. There was also the bird nest that we found out there.
Yeah. Anyways, every day for the entire Memorial weekend, they'd bring in a rabbit, a baby rabbit.
So
it was sad.
Yeah. So we weren't gonna. We're gonna do that again.
Yeah. Since then, we don't let the grass get that tall.
Yeah. So then that way it's yeah, we don't need to worry about that. There won't be any more bunny genocide. 6.5 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna check them real quick.
Okay, come on, dogs.
Let's check that chicken. I did not. Okay. Well, it's looking good. It's smelling good. And that was the soy batch, and this is the soy bouillon batch. In terms of color, yeah, okay, this one's a little bit lighter. But I deboned the thighs, and I actually kind of flatten them out a little bit just to keep them kind of even. And move that up off the shelf. Drink up the broiler since that'll be ready to go. And that'll just take a minute or two to kind of heat up. Our sauce is looking nice and glaze-like. This is what we want. Those are looking excellent. And rice is ready. Salad's good to go. Actually, so this is a salad from yesterday. You can see the potato chunks are bigger. It's a slightly different pasta that I used. We call it the Star Wars pasta because it looks a little bit like Boba Fett's ship, Slave One. You can see the carrots are a little bit longer, which I kind of preferred them on the shorter side. But it tastes fantastic, and this is good to go. And we'll do it proper plate lunch style by busting out the disher. I have dishers in a couple of different sizes. So we'll do the scoops of rice, we'll do the scoops of the mac potato salad, and we'll chop up the chicken. We'll have the sprouts, and it will be delicious. Okay. I've got my kimchi, because I want kimchi. Actually, need water. That. All right, let's start the broil. Excuse me, Jane. Okay. Up top. Set it for 3 minutes. And they're currently skin side up. Then we'll flip. Do them for another 3 minutes. I'm actually thinking I should probably drain the fat and whatever liquid is in there just so that way I have a chance to kind of brown up a little bit better. Let's grab. There was nothing on this pan when, other than the chicken, when I initially put it in. That's just rendered fat. And chicken juice doesn't come out. Now that's interesting. So this one is the one that was made with soy sauce and Huli Huli. And it looked like there was less liquid in there. I've got a waste. Crunchy Brussels sprout. That'll be used for chopping the chicken. Alright, a couple minutes on the clock. Oh, nice, Harkonnen. What kind of root beer did you use for your float? Because we had a big root beer discussion. What was this, like a month ago or something like that? it was a month or two ago. We had this big discussion about root beers and the different, some of the different brands, and my favorite being the Sprecher root beer, which is kind of difficult to get up here. But in terms of just sort of everyday A&W, okay, yeah, right on. In terms of like just everyday root beer that's readily available to me, we're fans of the Henry Weinhard's. They changed their label and packaging recently, which is kind of weird. Barks are regular. Okay. Yeah, Barks does have kind of that stronger birch, the root beer kind of bite, which is, yeah, I can see that for regular drinking. The Henry Weinhard's tends to be really creamy, but we're big fans of it. And the Sprecher is a good balance for me in terms of the bite versus the sweetness, bit of creaminess that we're big fans of. There's a number of other root beers that are out there that I like. So, like, periodically you can find Virgil's makes a Bavarian nutmeg variant. That comes in a kind of a swing top bottle. That's really good, but that's only available sometimes. All right. Rotate and that is it. Well, I was looking at the browning of the chicken, and the chicken in the one with the bouillon seemed to brown up quicker, which I thought was kind of interesting. All right, 3 more minutes on the clock. Okay, let's see. Prefer vanilla bean ice cream, but had to stick with regular vanilla today. Have you ever had Dominion? Dominion root beer? It sounds familiar, but I don't know if I have actually had it. But yeah, when it does come to ice cream, 99 out of 100 times I'm grabbing vanilla bean. There's a couple of brands that are local to up here. Tillamook being one of them, the other one being Umpqua. Both of their vanilla bean ice creams are excellent, and so that's usually what we end up grabbing. Sometimes, if for whatever reason vanilla bean's not available, I'll sometimes grab like the French vanilla, but usually I prefer the vanilla bean myself. Dominion's an East Coast brand. No, I can't say that I have had it. I would, I'd have to look. It's possible that it might have some distribution out here, but it would be something that I'd be really interested in checking out. Because I love, trying new root beer brands and things like that. Just kind of curious. We're getting towards the end. I'm just looking to see who all is on at the moment. Oh, does she? Right on.
Next meetup we'll have to have.
Oh, that'd be excellent. Possibly. If she's brought it with her, then there's a very good chance that that is the case. Okay. Let's see. It's very common to find mid-Atlantic. Okay, that makes sense. Tend to not find it much further west in Ohio and further south in Virginia. Okay. Huh. Yeah, the fact that is it a Delaware, interesting. Yeah, the fact that if you're able to get it at Costco, they're gonna have they're gonna have some production numbers that they're able to make. You can hear the chicken popping. So let's have a look. Oh, 13 seconds. Clock. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excuse me. Oh yeah. That is. This is awesome. Okay. So I'm gonna say let's do our 1 minute base. Flip, face the backside, and we'll call it good. Since there's as much sugar and stuff in this as there is, I don't want to leave it underneath there for an extended period of time, which is why I'm only doing it for a minute aside. We'll also put the Brussels sprouts back in, down below. Alright. One minute on the clock. That'll be good to go. Let's double check this. Fordham and Dominion soda. Let's...
Dover nowhere.
Oh! It is in Dover. Okay. I think I found who we're gonna raid. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think, when all is said and done, I think we're gonna go raid Painty Pants. Painty Pants is a friend that we made by way of Grant Truesdell, and she's in the process of playing Magic the Gathering Arena online, but she's good people. She hooked, she picked up a pair of drumsticks so that I could stick them into Mrs. Weso's stocking. Mrs. Weso was very happy.
Mrs. Weso was very Mrs. Weso needs to get a drum.
Alright.
Mr. Weso needs to start making money from this too. So Mrs. Weso can buy a drum.
There you are. Did you though? Alright. See how these are in comparison to the last time. Okay. 1 minute. Although judging from the tops of them, I think I'm going to flip them back over and put them in for another minute. I'm not going to baste them again, but I will just let them go under the broiler just to put a little bit of color on it. Additional color, I should say. Oh! Okay, yes. Yes, I have had this root beer. I opened up the website. Yeah, I totally recognize this label. Yeah, it is very good. Nice. That. Excellent. Okay. Okay, yeah. No. I remember it being really good. But just that since it's an East Coast thing, it's impossible to find out here. Oh.
What is root beer trading?
Yeah, we can do root beer trading.
What's the only on this coast trade?
That's a great question. You know what would be a really good one if we can find it again? That red arrow. If I remember correctly, it's produced like up in the Seattle area.
Red Arrow is?
Yeah, or at least that it's the company that distributes Red Arrow. That's where they're based out of, is the Seattle area. For a small fortune, yeah. Funny how that is. I'd rather not spend a small fortune in order to purchase root beer.
Oh yeah, it's Washington.
It's a place.
Yeah, who could tell you Washington where Red Arrow?
No idea.
What?
It's okay, puppy. All right. Oh. What brand? I don't know off the top of my head.
But how they were gonna keep root beer, but they shut the brewing part down.
Yes, they were going to stop making the beer. That I remember. Okay. Time to plate up. First things first. Okay, so this is the soy-based one. I will grab that. And then this is the soy and bouillon-based one. Which we will cut up. Taste. Brussels sprouts. Those Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, it's a form of bread.
Okay.
There you go.
Good to know.
We'll have to train
Yeah, Harkonnen will. Yeah, I don't know if you're on the Discord. I don't recall. I can check. Hit me up on the Discord, and if you want, we can do a trade for some root beer. So, hit me up. All right. So this is the soy bouillon. Just the soy. But before I get cutting those up, we need scoop and a scoop. And I would do 2 scoops of the rice, but I got a rice paddle for that, so. Because rice. Okay. Soy based. Usually end up cutting these skin side down. That did not work out the way I was hoping. Oh well. The reason is so then that way the skin is the last thing the knife goes through. And it's up against the board, so it'll cut a little bit easier. So there's that. Now, the soy bouillon. Man, this smells good. Get over for it. Okay. What is... Now we've got our plate lunch, complete with Huli Huli chicken, potato mac salad, rice, and roasted Brussels sprouts. It is looking fantastic. Oh, you're in the Discord now. Nice. So let's go and actually try this. Get this out of here real quick. Can't forget my kimchi. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna try is the soy-based brine. Hey, Night Songs.
How is it?
Okay. Hang on. And then this is that soy bouillon. Okay, here's a fork. Soy bouillon.
Soy. It's not salty.
It's not.
Yesterday's chicken was super salty. And he's like, sweetheart, I made chicken breast.
And then that's the
But it
soy
was also
bouillon.
too salty.
Bouillon. So many cultures. Okay, now that you've got it in your mouth.
Mhm.
All right. Here's my observation between the two. Flavor-wise, I can't say that there was a huge difference.
I'd say they're the same thing if I weren't paying attention.
What I did notice personally is that the soy bouillon one was perceptibly saltier.
Yeah.
And I believe that's because of that MSG and the ING that's in that bouillon powder. However, fantastic flavor.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic flavor. To be honest, I think if I'm going to do this again, I'm just going to do it with the soy sauce minus the bouillon. So now that is the determination that I've made, I will post I will make a little calculator and post it up there, so then that way you can make it yourself too. Like I said, I made this with the straight, regular, available everywhere in the US Kikkoman soy sauce, not the less sodium, the regular stuff. It was soy sauce, water, and sugar, and that's it. That's all that was in the brine. The hey, accidental chaos. Oh, dude. Beauty shot of the plate lunch. Potato macaroni salad, rice, roasted Brussels sprouts, and then Huli Huli chicken that I brined 2 different ways. You missed my crazy explanation at the very beginning about why I did what I did and the lengths that I went to. Oh man. In short, I made Huli Huli chicken last night. The brine gave it fantastic color, but was way too salty. So
Those not good.
I went back to a brine recipe that I know for a fact works. Hey, Chubby Viking. Thanks for the follow, buddy. And based off of the sodium content of the salt that went to the brine, I figured out the equivalent sodium content using soy sauce, and then just adjusted the water amount in order to make up the volume necessary. Because the recipe for the brine, the volume of the brine is based off of the weight of the chicken. So if you have like 1 pound of chicken, you're making 1 pound of liquid kind of thing. But if you have 100 pounds, you have like 100 pounds of brine that you're making. And there was some complex formula involved, and I had to look up the sodium content of salt versus looking at the sodium content of the soy sauce, figuring it out down to the gram, doing some cross multiplication, and that's why we have formulas and spreadsheets. And oh man, it was an adventure, and I had to go back and double check my work because I miscalculated something, which I'm glad that I double checked, because had I gone with the original numbers that I had worked on, it would have been inedible, because it would have been way more soy sauce than there should have been in there. But this is perfect. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, Accidental Chaos, I'm gonna put this up on the Discord, so then that way anybody can go ahead and make it, because I'm super confident in this brine. It's based off of a recipe developed by a YouTuber that goes by Way of Ramen, and he posted this is kimchi. This is kimchi that I made, and it's a super common side with rice and macaroni salad. In this case, potato mac. I actually like to mince up kimchi and mix it into the macaroni salad. Oh, yes, you can. Give it a second. Give it a second. There it is. All the socials link is in there, including the Discord, the Instagram, the Facebook. Everything is on there. If you happen to go onto Instagram, Accidental Chaos, earlier today I posted a photo of me working on the 2 different brine recipes. So and there's actually a shot of my my spreadsheet that I had up on the TV here, because I'm sitting here punching in the weight, so then that way I can have it up on the screen and I'm measuring everything out, and everything that I weighed out was accurate to within about a gram or so. Not enough difference between them to be super perceptible, but in this case the clear winner is definitely just the straight soy sauce as opposed to the soy sauce and bouillon. But yeah, we are good to go. That was fun, and I am starving. Let's see. Okay, yep. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go raid Painty Pants, because Painty Pants is awesome. But let me throw up the raid message real quick. Hey, Chubby Viking. Yes, food. It's all about the food. So yeah, here's our raid message. I did not eat lunch because I was busy doing other things. So there's our raid message, and I'm going to set this up, and we're going to go raid Painty Pants. If the button... Or... Taking a second. It's taking a second. And see if it'll work. We'll actually start it up. Hopefully. Yeah, so thanks everyone for being here. It's been fun. Hopefully, you learned something or other. Hopefully we were able to avoid that national incident. I think we did okay. Oh, right on. Hey, it's okay, Accidental Chaos. Don't even sweat it. After I'm done eating, I'm actually going to go download the VOD and put it up on YouTube. Since the VODs for this expire after like 25 days or so. The YouTube channel is in that link. Oh, now it... Come on. Having a heart attack. Come on. Like, I thought I put this command in. Okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna... I'm gonna run to the other computer. I'm gonna go set this up. In the meantime, I'm going to put the intro on real quick, and then I'm gonna go set up the raid. We'll go raid Painty, say yo, what's up, and we'll be back on Saturday. Not 100% certain what I'm making Saturday. Maybe the Chonko Nabe that I talked about on Tuesday. It kind of depends on, well, any number of things, really. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Come on, you were working so well. Now it's just having a heart attack. Okay. I will be right back.